Shalom, giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha, Hudash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth and sincerity. Shalom to you, Akim, you hope for elect on the highway and hedges, making your body a living sacrifice, according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom to sincere believers as well, which consist of men and women. Shalom, Barakatham, and as always, Abba Abba. This is your brother Zakar Aban coming back with another video. Start off with the book of Second Esdras, chapter 8, verse 1. Grab a few, precepts, make a few points. But, it's thinking in the spirit as far as thinking about the world to come and thinking about how in dire times, especially right now with the heat up and the, in Iran and Israel, with that, becoming more and more and more, aggressive and it's boiling, and how you still got people, thinking shit is a game, all right, still playing around and still thinking that the Most High is going to hold off his promise as far as destroying this place and delivering. All right, so this is Second Esdras chapter 8 and verse 1. And it reads, the angel replied, I don't want Yahweh Most High made this world for many people, but the future world for only a few. For only a few. And that goes into the first fruits, the house of David, 144,000, right? The 1/3, which the head of the 1/3 is the 144,000. That's just the order. So that would be, that world. Okay, so that would be that few. That will be pretty much enter into, the kingdom, all right, on the first go around. So let's read a little bit more. Ezra, let me give you an illustration. And this is Esdras, all right, or Ezra, having a conversation with the angel Uriel, all right. It says, if you ask the earth, it will tell you that it produces a large amount of clay for pots, but only a small amount of gold dust. And this is also in the GNT. And that's the way it is with the present world. It's going into the fact about, a small amount. Because, there's, once again, many people. All right. Hosea chapter 1, verse 9 and verse 10. It goes into Israel being as the sand of the sea. Right. It said, many have been created, but only a few will be saved. But only a few will be saved. So let's grab this here. Let's see what it sounds like in the GNT. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 10, OD. But it's always good to go to. Always good to go over the this. Salaki, bear me 1 second. This is Isaiah 10 and verse 20. It says, a time is coming when the people of Israel who have survived will not rely anymore on a nation that almost destroyed them. They will truly put their trust in the Yahweh Israel holy power. All right, and this is holy, goes into what? Separate. Okay, so the Most High is a separatist with everything. There's nowhere in the scriptures that the Most High ever made mention of, dealing with any nation as far as calling them his people. Just want to make mention of that. A few of the people of Israel will come to their mighty power. It's a few of the people of Israel will come to their mighty power. And this is in the GNT. And that few, once again, is the elect. Okay, even though now there are as many people of Israel as there are grains of sand by the sea. I quoted one as well in the book of Hosea chapter 1 and verse 9 and 10. By the sand of the sea, only a few will come back. Destruction is in store for the people, and it is fully deserved. It is fully deserved. It's in GNT. All right, it's well deserved. You're supposed to have the mindset of saying, the more you grow, and saying that it's a beautiful thing when the Most High brings pain and destruction. And by saying that, speaking about our own people, that's taking them out of their misery. Right, you can watch some of these cowboy movies, or you can talk to someone that is into the farming and into you know, the horses and all of that. And they'll tell you that when a horse goes down, the best thing to do is to pretty much, you know, kill it. Why? Because it, you know, it's taking it out of its misery, right? So that's what the Most High is pretty much is doing, taking Israel, you know, that is sick, right? As it says, the whole head is sick, and taking it out of its misery, which is great. You know, it's a bad thing when you see your people in bad shape, right? So I'll read this one more time. Even though now there are as many people of Israel as there are grains of sand by the sea, only a few will come back. And we see that now. Only a few people is able to see, able to hear, able to comprehend, able to have this discipline. Even, you know, so-called brothers that may be in the truth, they don't have that discipline. That's why they wither away, right? That's why they fall out. You know, lack discipline, lacks faith. Okay, as there are grains of sand by the sea, only a few will come back. Destruction is in store for the people, and it is fully deserved. It is fully deserved. It's well deserved. Okay, because that's a promise for the Most High about what? Destruction. Yes, throughout the whole country, the sovereign Yahweh Almighty will bring destruction as He said He would. Okay, as He said He would, and that's a promise. You could bank on it. So this is what we see when we see all the hell that's taking place, you know, with Iran and Israel. Because you got simple jakes that may say, well, what does that have to do with America? That has a lot to do with America, right? Why? Because Israel and America are what? Allies. And if you understand prophecy, right, you understand that as it says in the book of Jeremiah 50, should be verse 45, the least of the flock shall draw them out. Speaking about Israel, okay, the Ish people. So let's grab this in the book of Ezekiel chapter 12 and verse 26. The Yahweh said to me, matter of fact, let's start at Salaki. Let's start up just a tad bit. Let's start at verse 21. The Yahweh spoke to me more than man. He said, why do the people of Israel repeat this proverb? Time goes by and prediction come to nothing. Okay, and you brothers that, you know, do the work, you know, we have seen plenty times where Jake come by and roll his eye, you know, they roll their eyes. They may say, man, y'all been out here forever and nothing has changed. You know, they come by, you know, scoffing and mocking and, you know, thinking that this is a game. But when things start to get a little hot, all right, with, you know, with what we see, then now they want to crawl and now they want to, you know, seek some type of comfort. Okay, when you took this grace period, you know, for you know, as a game, right? It said more than man. He said, why do the people of Israel repeat this proverb? Times go by and prediction come to nothing. Once again, this is in GNT. Now tell them what I, the sovereign Yahweh, have to say about that. I will put an end to that proverb. It won't be repeated in Israel anymore. Tell them instead the time has come and the predictions are coming true, meaning what? The prophecies. Okay, all the prophecies of Yahweh, well, Yahweh Shai, is coming to pass. All right, it's not that it you know, took so long or whatever. It's just that everything has a set time to be fulfilled. That's all it is. Among the people of Israel, there will be no more false visions or misleading prophecies. I, the Yahweh, will speak to them, and what I say will be done. There will be no more delay in your own lifetime, you rebels. I will do what I have warned you I would do. I have spoken, says the sovereign Yahweh. Yahweh said to me, more than man, the Israelites think that your visions and prophecies are about the distant future, right? You had, you know, not gonna call his name, but had a guy that was doing all types of vile, abominable acts, okay? Saying that 1,000 years and all of this, you know, always, you know, you just had a mindset of saying we one day closer, not, you know, putting out doubt or whatever, man. Okay. It said more than man, the Israelites think that your visions and prophecies are about the distant future. So tell them that I, the sovereign Yahweh, am saying there will be no more delay. What I have said will be done. I, the sovereign Yahweh, have spoken. Okay, because now it's time, right? As it says in scripture, it's time for thee, O Lord. All right, now it's time for the Most High to remind people who he is, right? To use a worldly term, you had Jay-Z or Gay-Z. He got a song called Public Service Announcement. It's a pretty decent song. But in the opening of it, he said, allow me to reintroduce myself. So that's what Yahweh Shai is coming to do, man. He's coming to, reintroduce himself to this world. Because people have forgotten who he is. All right? They read about the scriptures. As far as him destroying, kingdoms and destroying the old world as far as, in Noah's time, right? They read about him destroying Sodom and Gomorrah and the other neighboring cities, but they don't take heed to it. Okay? So let me grab this here in the book of, Second Esdras. I was just that. Con. So bear with me 1 second. Let's grab this. Let's go back to the book of Second Esdras. Just type it in. Salakia. All right, and let's start at verse 4. I said to myself, I must search for wisdom and try to understand. Okay, so let's skip down just a tad bit. Let's get down. Start at verse verse 50. It says, the people of this world who have lived their lives in pride and arrogance will suffer many things in the last days. All right, because pride go before destruction, right? Pride go before destruction, and we understand that this is a proud kingdom. Why? Because the rulership of this world and the rulers of this world are very proud. Speaking about Esau, Edom, all right, who is known as the eagle. All right, this is a wicked, proud, arrogant rulership. Okay, as it says in the scriptures. Let me grab it and see if I can find it real swift. Bear me 1 second. That should be Salakia. This comes to mind. Yep, it should be Sirach. See if I can find that. It should be Sirach 10 and verse, was it 2 or 2? Let's grab that. Sirach 10 and verse 2. And in GNT, it says, start verse 1. A wise ruler will educate his people, and his government will be orderly. All the officials and all the citizens will be like their ruler. Right? So when there's a arrogant, proud ruler, then majority of people is going to be in that same behavior. Right? And we got to understand, once again, Second Esdras 8 from the top, as I just brought out, the world to come is only for a few. It's only for a few. So the majority of people is going to be in line and in league with Babylon the Great, with the beast system. All right, with fully embracing the Western way. Okay, all the officials and all the citizens will be like their ruler. An uneducated king will ruin his people, but a government will grow strong if his rulers are wise. All right, and that's what we do not see. This is a wicked and mad rulership run by a very, very low nation of base people, decayed people, so-called Caucasians. But Ezra, you should be thinking about the glory that is waiting for you and those like you. For all of you, paradise has been opened, the tree of life has been planted, the world to come has been made ready, all your needs have been provided, the heavenly city has been built, full rest from your labors. And the labor is talking about what? Going on a highway in the hedges, which you'll call discreet teaching. Full rest from your labors has been offered, goodness and wisdom has been perfected. All right, so doing the work, building up that spiritual, building up that spiritual treasure, or the spiritual, you could say bank account. The more you work, right? The Most High is taking note of it, man. The ones that doing the truth and sincerity, because you can be out there, but you can be out there for vainglory, All right. So it's always about doing the will of Yahweh Yahushai in sincerity. Okay. The source of evil has been sealed off. They cannot reach you. All sickness has been removed. Death has been taken away. Hell is gone and corruption has disappeared. All suffering has been taken away, and the treasure of immortality is at last revealed. So don't ask any more questions about the large number of people who are lost. All right, because they done, they finished. All right, we understand that there are a lot. We understand of what's what's going to take place. Okay, we got to always have our mind on the kingdom. All right, think about it every day. All right, waiting on Yahweh Yahushai's return. Because, there's really nothing else out here, man. All right. Nothing at all. For when they had the opportunity to choose, they despised Adonai Yahweh Most High, had contempt for his law, and refused to follow his ways. And there was, no excuse. Right. There was no excuse. They misused the prophets. Okay. And let me grab that. I'm grab this, and that'd be pretty much it. In addition, they mistreated the righteous servants of Adonai Yahweh. Right. Because the Most High, sent out his men, right, to go out there and warn his people, to show them the right way of Yahweh or Yahweh Shai, to tell them about, the unclean and the clean. That's what a servant of the Most High will be doing, to tell them what is pleasing unto the Most High. So let's read it one more time. For when they had the opportunity to choose, right, this grace period, this grace period does not mean to just act a fool, just to do what you want, to have that was it James Crowley, if I'm not mistaken, do as thy wilt spirit. That's not what this is about. This is about rehearsing the righteous acts. We understand that we can't keep all 613 laws perfect, right? Because scripture does say all things lawful is not expedient, because we got to keep in mind that we behind enemies' lines, but we must make an effort. Had contempt for his law and refused to follow his ways. In addition, they mistreated the righteous servants of Adonai Yahweh. Once again, misuse the prophets. So let's grab this, and that'll be pretty much it. And like I said, just a few things I just want to bring out. Okay, I always had a mindset of the coming salvation, okay, and the destruction, because as I said a little bit earlier, it's a beautiful thing when the Most High is going to purge his people. Right. And I mean, as far as, killing off a lot of his people, because that's actually a mercy kill, taking you out of your mercy. All right. Because Jake is way too far gone. But anyways, this is 2 Chronicles 36 and it should be 16. This is GNT. Let's see what it sounds like. Okay. Let's start at verse 15. 2 Chronicles 36 and 15 in GNT. The Yahweh, the power of their ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, had continued to send prophets to warn his people, because he wanted to spare them and the temple. But they made fun of Adonai Yahweh's messengers. Okay, the Most High did what? Gave you this time to get right. Right? Ample time. A lot of time, man, to get yourself in order. But they made fun of them. Adonai Yahweh's messengers, ignoring his words and laughing at his prophets, and that's a fact. GNT make it a little clearer. All right, but that's ultimately a fact. Laughing, hey, look at these dudes. They scoff and say dresses. Look at these dudes on their dresses. Look at these. They said go get a job, call you bombs, call you dusty. All of these, the meaning and derogatory words that they say, it's gonna come back on them, man. As it says, every idle word that man should speak shall give account for in the day of judgment. So when you run around, as they say in the world, that old cliche saying, run around with run around like a chicken with your head cut off, hey, that's on you. Okay? Because you didn't because you didn't count the cost. You thought that everything was a game. Right? Because Jake, had that mindset of always playing. It's not a joke. Matter of fact, I'm gonna title this video that through the spirit. Okay, but it said, but they made fun of Adonai Yahweh's messengers, ignoring his words and laughing at his prophets, until at last the Yahweh's anger against his people was so great that there was no escape. We can read that in the book of Amos chapter 5, verse 18 on down. All right, it's gonna be like as you ran from a bear and a lion met you. Just loosely paraphrasing, meaning there will be no there will be no way to escape. There will be it will be nonstop judgment, right? It said, but they made fun of Adonai Yahweh's messengers, ignoring his words. So when we speak, we're not speaking according to our own will, right? We speaking according to Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai's will. Let's grab that real quick. Should be book of 1 Peter. Should be 4. Should be verse 11. And this is once again in GNT. I want to keep mentioning that. So 1 Peter 4 and verse 11. Those who preach must preach out of one Yahweh's messages. Those who serve must serve with the strength that Adonai Yahweh gives them, so that in all things praise may be given to Adonai Yahweh through Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, to whom belong glory and power forever and ever. Amen. Amen means so be true. Okay. And now in the KJV it say the oracles. So those who speak the oracles of Most High, but that's pretty much the point. So when we speak the message of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. And the only way you can understand and interpret the scriptures, you have to be preordained. You have to be chosen. The Most High had to sup with you. Okay, make yourself understand the scriptures, man. You can memorize chapters or whatever, but do you have the understanding? As it says in the book of Ecclesiastes, was it 4? Get wisdom and get understanding. Okay, so let's go back to 2 Chronicles 36, and that'd be pretty much it. All right, just making mention, just making the point as far as saying, when we speak, this is, we speak in the words of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. This is not our this is not our ministry. Ultimately, we this is doing the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai. All right, we ministers, meaning what? We serve Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai, man. So this is 2 Chronicles 36 and verse 16 once again. But they made fun of Adonai Yahweh's messengers, ignoring his words and laughing at his prophets, until at last Yahweh's anger against his people was so great that there was no escape. All right, that's why it says, as in the days of Noah. The same thing happened with Noah, our forefather, right? Out there 120 years until that time the ark was closed, which is spiritual ark now, it's going to be what? Closed. Okay? Meaning you will have the prophets, won't be on the highways and hedges. The Most High is going to shut them out for the prophets. And you just be pretty much, on your own. Right? Not having the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Al Shai. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, it hit me in the spirit. This title, it's not a joke. So I'm in it there. I'm going to give all praises and glory unto Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Raha, Hodash. Honors be to the elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth and sincerity. Shalom to you, Akim, the hopeful elect on the highway and hedges, make your body a living sacrifice, according to Romans 12 verse 1. Shalom to sincere believers as well, which consists of men and women. Shalom, Brakatham, and as always, a Ball. Shalom.